This video is initiated by Set Vidya Mandir English High School, Vasai West, Maharashtra Board. Chapter 1, More about the computer. We have already been introduced to computer peripherals in class 6. You have also learned about the wide variety of input and output devices used nowadays. In this chapter, you will learn a bit more about the computer. You will become familiar with the concept of memory in a computer, the generations and types of computers, computer languages, and types of software. Let us take up the concept of memory first. Memory. Memory is an essential part of a computer. It is used to store data and instructions, which are required for the CPU for processing. Computer memory can be classified into many different types. You have already learned about three of these in class 5. Let us first quickly recall primary memory and ROM, that is read-only memory, and then study about more types of computer memory such as cache memory and registers. Finally, we will talk about secondary memory. Primary memory. Primary memory or main memory is an important part of the computer system and is embedded within the computer system. It is very fast and is directly accessed by the CPU, that is, the CPU directly stores and retrieves data from it. Primary memory is also called random access memory (RAM). Random access memory or RAM is also called because it is accessed by the CPU in random manner. It is read-write memory, that is, any location of this memory can be accessed by the CPU to either read information from it or to store information on it. RAM, that is random access memory, is a store for those data and instruction on which the computer is currently working. When you switch off the computer, the data stored in RAM is lost. For example, if you are typing a letter on a computer and the power gets off, the content of your letters will get erased from RAM. This nature of RAM makes it a volatile memory. The size of RAM usually ranges from 512 MB, that is megabytes, to few GBs, that is gigabyte. Read-only memory. ROM. Read-only memory is a special type of memory. Contents from ROM can only be read and not modified. It usually stores the software for starting or booting the computer and for operating the hardware. The data stored in ROM remains intact even when the computer is switched off, making it a non-volatile memory. It has relatively small memory capacity as compared to RAM. Register. Registers are a part of CPU and help in increasing system speed by quickly providing data to the arithmetic and logic unit, that is ALU, and the control unit, that is CU. In a computer system, data is loaded from memory to register for processing and manipulations. Registers provide the fastest way of accessing data. The size of registers determines the power and speed of a computer system. For example, a 32-bit system processor means that a register in its CPU is 32 bits in size and work on a 32 bits at a time. Cache memory. Cache memory is commonly built into the CPU. Its purpose, as with the register, is to improve system speed and efficiency. This is done by storing the most frequently used data and instructions. When the processor requires this information, it initially searches the cache memory and the RAM or any other memory locations. This is because other locations are slower and are placed further away than the cache memory. So, the overall system speed improves by using the cache for rapid access to data and instruction. Secondary memory. Since the primary memory of a computer is volatile and limited in size, secondary memory devices are used for bulk storage of programs and data. Common secondary storage devices include floppy disk, hard disk, compact disk that is CD, digital versatile disk that is DVD, and flash drives that are pen drive. Let us recall these devices. Floppy disk. A floppy disk is made up of magnetic disk enclosed within a square plastic case. It is available in two sizes, that is 3.5 and 5.25 inches. For using a floppy disk drive is needed. This storage device, though very popular at one time, is now hardly being used and has been replaced by CDs and DVDs. CDs full form as compact disc and DVDs full form as digital versatile disc. Hard disk. The hard disk is most commonly used secondary storage device. It is made up of collection of disks known as platters. These platters are coated with the material that allows data to be recorded magnetically on it. Hard disk has a comparatively large memory space, which generally ranges from 40 GBs to a few terabytes. Compact disc CD. A compact disc is a silver colored disc. It is usually 4.75 inches in diameter and is less than 1/20th of an inch thick. A CD can record text, graphics, video, and sound. For a computer to read the content of a CD, it needs a CD drive. CD drives are available in specification of 32x, 48x, 52x, etc. The x represents the data transfer rate, which is usually 150 kbps, kilobytes per second, or 0.146 mbps, megabytes per second. CDs are inexpensive and have long life. A CD can hold up to 700 MB of data. CDs are used to store and distribute software and to keep backups. This is because of their high speed of data transfer, large capacity, and low cost. CDs are available in two forms. CDR. CDR stands for compact disc recordable. Data once written on it cannot be erased but can be read again and again. CDRW. CDRW stands for compact disc rewritable. It is also called erasable CD. The user can erase previously recorded information and then record new information onto the same physical location on the disk. Digital versatile disk (DVD). Although CDs have a large capacity, they are not sufficient for many complex programs that require huge software requirements, huge storage requirements. To meet such storage requirements, DVDs are used. Physically, a CD and a DVD are similar, but DVD can hold up to 4.7 GB, which is 6 times more data than a CD. Another important feature of DVD is the data quality, which is far superior that of a CD. To read a DVD, you need a DVD drive or a DVD player. This DVD have speeds up to 40x and can even read CDs, whereas a CD drive cannot read a DVD. Flash drive means a pen drive. A flash drive is small, portable and rewritable storage device. It is also called a pen drive, I told you already, or a USB drive. Its storage capacity usually ranges from 1 to 64 GB. It uses flash memory, which is a non-volatile memory that can be erased and reprogrammed electronically when a flash drive is plugged into the USB port of a computer. The computer automatically detects this device and you can view, copy, paste and delete the content. Zip drive. A zip drive is a small portable disk used to take backups and for archiving personal computer files. Zip drives and disk comes in two sizes, 100 MB and 250 MB. The zip drive comes with a software utility that lets you copy the entire contents of your hard drive to one or more zip drives. Blu-ray disc. A Blu-ray disc looks similar to CD and DVD, but it can contain data up to 25 GB. To use a Blu-ray disc, a Blu-ray reader is required. Some higher models of laptop have a Blu-ray reader. Memory card. A memory card is a small card that is inserted and used in many small portable devices. Most common devices are digital cards, mobile phones, tablets, MP3 players and laptops. Memory cards have emerged as a good way to store electronic data as they have high capacity and can store many types of data such as a picture, video and text files. There are many types of memory card such as SD, SDHC, SDXC, micro SD and multimedia cards. To access the data from a memory card, you need a memory card reader. Generations of the computer. The generation of computer explain how the computer have developed from the early bulky machines to a modern ones that we use nowadays. The generation of computers have been divided into 5 stages. Let us study each in detail. First generation, 1940s to 1958s. 1940s brought in an era of modern computing. The significant change in this era was the replacement of mechanical parts by equivalent electronic circuits, relays, capacitors, and vacuum tubes. This further replaced analog calculations by digital calculations. The computer designed and constructed during this time have been called the first generation computers. First generation computers were usually built by hand using circuits containing relays or vacuum valves, that is tubes. They used punch cards or punch paper type for input as the main into bracket non-volatile storage medium. John Macleay and J. Prescott designed the ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrated Computer, often called the first electronic general purpose computer. It was 1,000 times faster than its contemporaries. Second generation, 1959 to 1964. The invention of the transistor in 1947 proved to be the next major step. This replaced the fragile and power-consuming valves with a smaller and more reliable component. Computers with transistors are called second-generation computers and were quite popular in the late 1950s and the early 1960s. In spite of using transistors and printed circuits, these computers were still large and very mainly meant for universities, governments, and large corporations. Third generation, 1965 to 1970s. The use of computers became widespread with the third generation computers. They were based on inventions of integrated circuits or a microchip. Integrated circuits allowed the development of smaller computers that started computing into many small-scale businesses too. IBM announced the iconic S360 series in 1964. It was the first of its kind that supported a wide range of software at different combinations of speed, capacity, and price. It was also the first system to handle alphanumeric data. Fourth generation, 1971 to present. The fourth generation computers began with Makaranhoff invention in, of the microprocessor on November 15, 1971. Intel released the world's first commercial microprocessor, the 4004, coupled with the Intel's RAM chip, which was based on invention by Bob Dinard of IBM. The microprocessor made it possible for fourth generation computers to be smaller and faster than ever before. The 4004 was developed and improved upon, and today we have microprocessors that are powerful and very fast. Fifth generation, present and beyond. Whereas the earlier generation focused on evolving the CPU components, the fifth generation computers aim to use large number of CPUs for massive power and processing. The goal is to create an immense parallel computing system and to develop artificial intelligence, that is AI. AI is a technology wherein computers would understand and respond to human language and expressions. Types of computers. Computers, when compared by size, are of four main types: supercomputers, mainframe computers, mini computers, and microcomputers. Let us study about this. Supercomputer. Supercomputers are the largest and most powerful computers. They often occupy an entire room and process trillions of instructions. They are used for applications such as astrophysical calculation and code breaking. For example, using the deep crack for breaking DES scripts, code breaking, and GRAPE for astrophysics. The first supercomputers introduced in the 1960s were designed by Seymour Cray and his team at Control Data Corporation (CDC). Mainframes. Mainframes are large, powerful, and expensive computers used mainly by large companies for bulk data processing, such, a, such as bank transaction processing. The term arose during the early 1970s with the introduction of smaller computers, which are known as mini computers. So the term mainframe was coined for the larger earlier types. The distinction between supercomputers and mainframe computers is quite blurred. In general, supercomputers are meant for complicated calculations that take place largely in memory, while mainframes are meant for simpler computations involving huge amount of external data accessed from databases. Supercomputers tend to focus on processing scientific and military data, while mainframes tend to be used for business and civilian government applications. Minicomputers. Minicomputer was a term evolved in early 1970s to describe the computers developed by using the microchip. Some minicomputers are still in use. These are replaced by fourth generation computers that use more advanced version of microprocessor technology. These are referred to as servers. Microcomputers. General, Generally, a microcomputer, now commonly called a personal computer or a PC, in a computer with a microprocessor as its CPU. They are very compact and can be easily accommodated on a study table. After the launch of IBM personal computer, IBM PC, the term personal computer became popular for a consumer-friendly microcomputer. Computer languages. In order to instruct a computer to perform a particular task, the computer programmer has to write a sequence of instructions called a program. A set of programs written to instruct a computer is called software. These programs can be written in any computer language. Computer languages are classified into first low level language, second high level language. Low level languages. Low level programming languages contain commands that can be directly processed by a computer with a very little or non-translation. These can be categorized into machine language and assembly language. Machine language. In a machine language, each instruction is written in the form of long string of 0 and 1s. These programs are easily understood by the computer but are very cumbersome to write. The only advantage is that a program written in machine language runs very fast because no translation is required. The internal design of one computer is different from another. This is why machine language differ from one type of computer to another. It is very difficult to write a program in a machine language as the programmer has to know the detail of the hardware. Assembly language. The first computer language that used word based on English alphabets was developed in 1950s and was known as assembly language. Each instruction to the computer is written using a letter code to denote the operation to be performed and the address of the data. Similar to machine language, an assembly language is also machine dependent. The program written in assembly language for one computer cannot be used in another computer. The programmer must have detailed knowledge of his or her computer hardware. High level languages. The wide use of computer by the mid of 1950s led to the development of high level languages. The structure of these languages is much closer to the English language. These languages made the computer accessible to even a layman. High level languages are machine independent, that is, a program written in high level language can be run on different type of computers with very little or no modification. For example, high level languages are Basic, COBOL, Fortran and C++. Software. The term software refers to a set of computer programs that are needed for running or operating a computer system effectively. A set of instructions that perform a particular task is called a program. A software can be classified in the following two categories: system software and application software. System software. System software is a set of one or more programs that are designed to control the operations of a computer. These programs are written to assist usage of computer system. They instruct the computer to perform tasks such as controlling its operations, moving data, and in and out of a computer, and executing application program. System software can be classified into operating system, interpreter, compiler, assembler. Operating system. An operating system is a master control program that runs the computer. It controls the flow of signals from the computer to various parts of the computer. When the computer is switched on, the program system is the first program loaded onto the computer's memory. Popular operating systems are MS-DOS, Windows, and Linux. Compiler. A compiler is a program that translates a high-level language program into machine language program. It first runs through the entire program, then translates the program language into the source code at one go. It reports to the user all the errors of the program along with the line numbers. This object program produced by the compiler is saved permanently for future references. Interpreter. An interpreter is a program that translates one statement of high-level language program into a machine code and executes it. It proceeds in a sequential manner while translating and executing the statements of the program. An interpreter is smaller and slower program as compared to the compiler. The object code of a statement produced by an interpreter is not saved. If the same instruction is needed later, it must be interpreted once again and translated into the machine code. Assembler. Assembler is a program that translates an assembly language program into machine language program. Application software. Application software programs are computer programs designed to help the user perform a specific task. One application software creates to one specific use of application. Application software is further classified into packages and utilities. Packages. A package is a computer application consisting of one or more programs created to perform a particular type of work. Packages include word processors, accounting packages, electronic spreadsheets, graphics and presentation packages, data management systems. Utilities. A utility is a program designed to perform maintenance work on the system or on system components. Utility packages include backup software, antivirus software, and a disk fragmenter. So students, you have to read GeekSpeak at a glance and remember the full form and short forms such as ROM, that is read only memory, RAM, that is random access memory, CD, compact disk, DVD, digital versatile disk, and so on in the textbook. Okay, so now exercise. Find your answers respectively. Find your answers respectively. Find your answers respectively. Homework. First, complete your book as the answers are given. Second, read the GeekSpeak. Third, read at a glance. Thank you.